What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check updates, the two new upcoming packages, the physical infrastructure package, and the next stimulus package, which is currently being discussed by the Democrats to be combined as one package and passed together through the reconciliation process, as well as what is going on in the world today. If you're new to the channel or if you haven't subscribed yet, feel free to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so. This way you won't miss out on new videos. Remember, new videos come out every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, if you can, give this video a like, and let's jump right in. With a surprising announcement from the Government Accountability Office that says that President Biden's border wall halt was legal because it's only temporary. As you can see here, at least as of now, the Government Accountability Office says that the White House insists it is committed to building the barriers, just not as quickly as the last administration. So apparently the White House is saying that they are going to, at some point, continue building the wall, although that could mean they're going to pause it forever. The Texas governor is not waiting. Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who's a Republican, has announced $250 million for a down payment to continue building the border wall, saying, quote, in the federal government's absence, Texas is stepping up to get the job done. Texas covers about 50% of the Mexican-U.S. border, and they're going to finish the job of building the wall on Texas's dime. The governor signed a letter directing the Texas Facilities Commission to hire a program manager to execute the project and hire contractors and subcontractors to erect the wall. In addition to this, the state has also launched a website where it will take private donations for the wall. Very, very interesting way of getting around what President Biden wants to do. Meanwhile, we continue to see more and more stimulus passed from other countries around the world, and this comes from President Biden's new call, or at least I should say partly because of President Biden's new call, and the agreement between the G7 leaders to pass more economic stimulus measures, more economic stimulus packages, more economic stimulus checks to continue through the end of 2021, and for other major world countries to continue to do this also, so that it helps the world economy come up and not just any one particular country, as well as none of the countries passing stimulus will have their dollar or their own currency devalued, because all these major countries across the world will continue to pass more stimulus. In fact, the Italian Prime Minister Mario Draghi made a bold call for more economic stimulus in European countries to help bring the growth back to pre-pandemic levels. He says, quote, protracted uncertainty means the case for monetary and fiscal expansion remains compelling, the former European Central Bank chief said in a speech today. Quote, we will not reach this objective without additional effort, so we must act on it promptly and effectively. The Bank of Japan also announced today, actually, that they're going to continue passing more stimulus as well, and basically shows that countries around the world are continuing to pass more stimulus, even though virus cases in some countries like the US might be getting better. Even if the virus was completely gone, we're likely going to see stimulus pass continuously until at least the end of 2021 would be my thoughts. And that's because the economy itself is really very slowly, very slowly returning back to normal. It's likely going to take years. As you can see here, the new jobless claims actually shows an increase in unemployment to the highest levels in a month, despite 26 states now, including actually one Democratic state that is now going to shut off unemployment at the end of July, only 5 weeks early. That one Democratic-led state that is going to be ending unemployment a few weeks early, 5 weeks early, is Louisiana. However, they're going to be using the unemployment money for other unemployment benefits. As you can see here, Governor John Bel Edwards on Wednesday signed a bill that terminates the federal unemployment boost money early in exchange for increasing the maximum state unemployment benefit by $28 to $275 a week starting in 2022. Now, despite these 26 states going to be ending unemployment, 4 of which have already ended unemployment this week, Jobless claims are still rising, or in this, at least for this week, the jobless claims have actually gone up despite the unemployment bonuses being gone. And this is because the economy is not just going to instantly get better. It's going to take some time, likely several different years. 2008, 2009, it took 4 to 5 years for the economy to get back to normal, and that was without a virus. Now we're dealing with a virus. However, we're passing much more stimulus than the one stimulus package passed then, which was really what I consider the start of the modern day stimulus package. We have now passed 6 stimulus packages, 5 through former President Donald Trump, 1 through current President Biden, as well as the 2 more that are on the way. The physical infrastructure package, which the White House says will create millions of jobs and help our economy get out of this recession, as well as the stimulus package, the American Families Plan, which is expected to be around $2 trillion, has plenty of money in there for a fourth stimulus check or even monthly recurring stimulus checks. They also want to extend the child tax credits, which some people consider a monthly stimulus check. Some people consider them just a check from the government. It was passed from the third stimulus check package. So without the third stimulus check package, this would not have been passed. So it is a stimulus provision. And it's only passed for 1 year, $250 to $300 per month per child, starting on July 15th. And the Democrats want to extend this in the next package as well till 2025, which would continue monthly payments from these increased child tax credits that used to only be $2,000 when former President Donald Trump raised them in the 2017 Trump tax cuts, which was passed, by the way, through the reconciliation process. Again, Democrats and Republicans use whatever is at their disposal to pass whatever they can. So it's not just the Democrats, or the Republicans do it too. And it's been kind of going on for many, many years. But in addition to the fourth stimulus check, the Democrats want monthly recurring stimulus checks or checks from the government for the child tax credits. They also want to increase Social Security as well as increasing Medicare, which includes additional Medicare benefits like hearing, dental, vision, and hearing aids to possibly be included in this next package. There is a lot of support for the Medicare reform as well as lowering the Medicare eligibility age to age 60. I think it's very likely that Medicare reform with these additional benefits will be included in this next package. The real question is are they going to combine the 2 packages and pass them together through the reconciliation process, which means that the Democrats can pass it on their own without a single Republican vote? Or will we see a compromise from these 2 different bipartisan groups that are currently working on a negotiation between Republicans and Democrats? The problem with those 2 groups is that Democrats are saying, there's several Democrats, including Senator Bernie Sanders, who's probably the second most powerful person in the Senate, that these bipartisan groups are mostly Republican ideas for the amount of the package, and that the package is too low because to get Republicans on board, they want to be real close to $1 trillion. And that there's a lot of progressive Democrats saying that the package is too low to get these Republican supporters from the Senate and from the House. They have to go too low. And there's a lot of Democrats that are saying, if we go that low, I'm not going to vote for it. So we might bring some Republican votes on, but then we're going to lose some Democrat votes. But if we pass it through the reconciliation process, which is just Democrats, then we kind of run into the issue where we need Senator Joe Manchin and the moderate Democrats to also come on board, which they did for the third stimulus check package. When all was said and done, all 50 Republican senators, including Senator Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema, did vote yes on the third stimulus check package after Joe Manchin kind of did a little bit of grandstanding and said, well, I need a change here and a change there and a change there. In fact, he is probably responsible for the lowering of the income threshold for the third stimulus check from $100,000 down to $80,000 is now the new cutoff for the third stimulus check. As well as he's probably in to be thanked for the $10,200 of unemployment income that became tax-free retroactively to 2020, which means that the average person who had unemployment income from last year is going to receive an additional $1,000 stimulus check passed from this third stimulus check package, or unemployment tax refund check, whatever kind of check you want to call it, right? It's a check from the government, and it was passed from the third stimulus check package. In fact, millions of more checks for that $10,200 unemployment tax break, which makes $10,200 of unemployment money retroactively for 2020 tax free, are going out still again this week. They've been sending out millions of checks per week right now, along with continuing to send out third stimulus checks as well for anybody that hasn't gotten their third stimulus check or is waiting on what they call a plus up stimulus check, which is basically you filed a 2020 tax return. The IRS now realizes that they actually owe you more money from previous stimulus checks, like you had a dependent that they didn't know about and you now claimed, you have a new baby, or you maybe got a reduced stimulus check previously, and they now realize that your income was lower for 2020 because you filed your tax return, and they're giving you what they're calling a plus-up stimulus check, where they might owe you several hundred or thousands of dollars as an increased stimulus check, be more than what you got before, kind of the plus-up version of it. In addition to this, we could see, as one of the provisions that could be negotiated on in the future, an additional $10,200 of unemployment tax-free money negotiated for this year, for 2021. Remember, when they did that negotiations, it was only retroactive back for the year of 2020. That's a stimulus provision we could see again come around in one of these negotiations. Even if the Democrats pass it through the reconciliation process, they'll basically have to just negotiate amongst their own party. And that's what happened with the third stimulus check package. And that's where this $10,200 of unemployment tax-free money became available literally the day they passed it in the Senate. That happened. It wasn't even an idea or ever talked about before, ever. And they announced it, and I announced it, and I'm like, I've never even heard of this. Like, it's the first time we've ever mentioned it ever. And it just boomed. It was negotiated at the very last minute. They passed it in the Senate like an hour later, and boom, everybody that had unemployment money from last year basically got an additional stimulus check. The average person gets around $1,000. Some people could get more. If their tax bracket is higher, if you're in the 25% tax bracket, you could get actually $2,500. If you're in the lower tax bracket, you'll get a little less. Or if you made less than $10,000 of unemployment income last year, you would probably get less. So the average person unemployed last year made $16,000 of unemployment income and bonus income. That all counts together. Unemployment income is taxable, okay, because it's a replacement of your job. You've lost your job, and the federal government has this unemployment program that came about when the Social Security program as well was created at the end of the Great Depression, back like in 1934, 35, I think it was, after the Great Depression. They realized that that was terrible. We don't want to do that again. How are we going to prevent this next time around? And they created the unemployment program as well as the Social Security programs. Before that, there was no Social Security. When you retired, if you didn't save enough money and have your own pension from whatever job you worked at, or if your pension was too small, I mean, there was no Social Security programs at all. There was no SSI, no SSDI, no VARR, Veterans Affairs, Railroad Benefits, no Social Security at all. Didn't exist. So it was so much worse back then without these government programs. If you lost your job during the Great Depression, A, there was no other jobs to go to, and B, there was no unemployment money. The government didn't give you nothing. Okay, so you were literally out on the street, couldn't pay your bills a week later, and there was no jobs to be found because I think it was like 25% of all Americans were unemployed at the height of the Great Depression. So it was a lot. And in this depression or this recession, 37% of all small businesses have already gone out of business. And there's a lot that are just hanging on by the threads right now as the country kind of reopens, but like restaurants are still doing terrible, man. A lot of people do not want to go and sit in a crowded restaurant because it's just kind of the new reality. A lot of people are still scared of the virus. A lot of people are scared of getting the vaccination. And a lot of people are just scared in general because this virus killed over 600,000 people in the United States and over 3 million people in the world. And now we got these new virus variants like the Delta virus variant, which is more contagious than any virus variant that we've had yet. Understand that this could cause a new spike in cases in summer or in the fall when temperatures get colder even. We could see a new spike like we've seen last year when we got to the high around in January of 300,000 new cases in a single day. We were having thousands of people die every single day. Now, I don't think we'll get to be that bad at all, again, because there's over 50% of the population that has at least one, if not two, of their shots. Uh, but that doesn't mean we can't see new spikes of the virus. I personally don't think the virus is going to be eradicated completely anytime soon. And other health experts, along with the Pfizer CEO and the Moderna CEO, think that people are going to need to get shots every year if they want to remain inoculated from the virus. I personally think that that is what's going to happen. I think it's going to be similar to a flu shot where every year, if you get a flu shot, there's a slightly different strain in the flu shot for that year's virus, that year's variant of the flu. And I think that we're going to probably see this happen with the COVID virus vaccine as well. They're actually testing right now a combination shot of the flu shots and the COVID shot together as one. I'm not a fan of that. I think that if you want to get both, you should probably space them out by a few weeks so you don't have a double, shot of the virus. So you can get a double shot of side effects if you get them. I mean, sometimes you get side effects even from the flu shot. And that's why I don't really personally agree with them being combined. But they're testing that right now as part of a yearly virus shot, a yearly virus flu shot, and a yearly virus COVID shot. Because likely the COVID is not going to just be eradicated completely. And that could prolong our economic recovery as well, which is why experts are saying that we need more stimulus. They need to continue to pass more stimulus to the bare minimum till the end of the year. And that's why President Biden himself has said the weak jobs report makes it clear the need for more stimulus. We have this new unemployment report that is actually the highest level in over a month, with more unemployment cases than we've had in a month. Yeah, jobs are just hard to find out there for good paying jobs that are full time, because 37% of all small businesses have gone out of business. And President Biden continues to say that he's open to a forced stimulus check. He's willing to, especially if Congress wants to include it, that President Biden is happy to hear a range of ideas in the next stimulus package, and that Congress can include another stimulus check in this next package if they want to. And that is exactly what we're seeing from Congress. Over 80 different lawmakers, I think it's actually near 100 now, from the House of Representatives alone. And over half of the Democrats in the Senate want not just a forced stimulus check, but monthly recurring stimulus checks to be included in this next stimulus package. And in fact, Senator Bernie Sanders and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer actually backed this bill, co-sponsored by Senator Ed Markey and Elizabeth Warren, for $2,000 monthly stimulus checks to continue until the pandemic is declared over. And Democratic Representative Jayapal, who's the leader of the Democratic Progressive Caucus, which has been very outspoken, one of the new leaders of the Democrats. She's the leader of around half of the Democrats in the House, the Democratic Progressive Caucus, is to immediately provide a $2,000 stimulus check to every person in America as critical relief during this COVID-19 crisis. Then, followed by $1,000 monthly recurring payments throughout the ongoing pandemic that continue for 1 year after the end of the crisis, to help our country and our families recover. Because again, even when the virus is eradicated or at very low levels, the economic crisis is going to take well over a year. And honestly, this whole situation seems very similar to the second stimulus check package, where we kind of led up to it. We started to get more and more support from representatives and congressmen and senators for a fourth stimulus check, or at that time, a second stimulus check. And we got it. And I think it's eerily similar to that as well. So I will keep you up to date with everything stimulus related, as well as what's going on in our country that you need to know about. If you're new to the channel or you haven't yet, subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so. After subscribing, click the bell icon to all notifications to get reminder notifications when we go live with new videos, which is every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video is my newest video about Senator Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden's Social Security raise. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.